Hello everybody, welcome back to IELTS with Sagar at eZone. As promised in my last video, today I'm going to be talking to you about one of the 4 marking criteria of the speaking module of IELTS, which is lexical resources. So lexical resources can be generally understood as the vocabulary that we use when we do the speaking test. So what does British Council expect from you guys? Do you think you need to learn the whole dictionary by heart? Well, the answer is no. If you keep a few things in your mind when you speak, that should be good enough to get you a very decent score in IELTS speaking module. So what are the factors that define marks for this criteria? So they are, you have to make sure you use less common vocabulary every now and then. You have to take care of style, collocation, paraphrasing, and use idioms if possible. It is not a compulsion, but if you do, you are definitely going to get better scores. So let's go through them one at a time. So what does less common vocabulary mean? So let's take an example. Most of the students get a question related to food every now and then. So if you keep on repeating the word food again and again, that gets a bit boring. So can you produce a synonym? Let's say dishes, or even maybe cuisine. So those words would be considered as less common vocabulary. So instead of repeating the same word again and again, try to ensure that you push a better word forward so that you get better marks. The next thing that British Council looks for is style. Style is very simple and I'm pretty sure you guys are very familiar with it. But if you don't know it yet, it is your ability to change the form of the word. Food, for example, can be converted into fooding. So that is a change in style of the word. Let's say you want to use a word entrepreneur. So if you want to reuse that word, why don't you make it entrepreneurship? It does 2 things. Number 1, you get marks for vocabulary because you have made an effort to change the style. And number 2, it produces different structures from a grammatical perspective. So you get extra marks there as well. Next thing you should consider is using collocation. Instead of saying a single word to reflect something, if you can combine 2 or 3 words, it sounds much better. So let's say using collocations like living below the poverty line, or maybe life expectancy, or even maybe infant mortality rate. So these words have been combined together to produce a better meaning, and that always gives you lots of marks in terms of collocation. The next thing that you should always be careful about is paraphrasing. This is a serious problem amongst Nepali students. They simply love to use words like because, or maybe at the end they love to use that's why, therefore, and these kind of things force you to repeat the question altogether. And it does not do any good at all to your speaking score. So instead of using those words because, therefore, learn to paraphrase. So let's say if the examiner asks you a question which says, do you like music? Instead of saying, I like music because music is my hobby. Instead of saying something like that, you could go for a much better option, paraphrase. And that is what British Council expects students to be able to do. Okay, so instead of giving a straightforward answer using because, you could do something like this. Music has always fascinated me. Ever since I was a kid, I have always been influenced by music, and actually I joined a band very recently, which obviously supports my statement that it is not just a hobby for me, but it is actually something that I do to relax and kill my time at the same time. So that is a longer answer and it gives you better marks because you're not copying anything from the question. Last thing that you need to try is using idioms. Like I said before, it is not a compulsion, but if you can do it every now and then, it is wonderful. So let's say if you want to say you have a friend who is very strong, you could say, my friend is as strong as an ox. So that would be an idiom that you have used, and it would definitely boost your marks in terms of vocabulary. Friend in this particular example could be replaced with a better word, colleague. So less common vocabulary. So these small efforts make sure that you get much better score in terms of the speaking test. Okay, please make sure you join me again for other marking criteria of the speaking test, as well as we are going to make some more videos about writing module, listening module and reading module. So please make sure you subscribe to our channel to get updated information about our newly released videos, and thank you very much for being with us today. I hope this tutorial has helped you.